why Christian men fail with women over and over again. I've made a lot of videos at this point about why Christian men are unattractive to women, and this will serve as a deeper practical guide for a solution to the problem. And I've worked with a lot of people. I've actively seen people talk to women, both through text and in person. I've worked with them, helped them out, and seen good results. So I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm saying. So first, let's get into this. First, we're going to go over something very important. What is actually attractive to a woman? Okay, what I see it as is Trinity. Okay? Not a holy Trinity, but a Trinity. Tri, three, unity, triangle, Illuminati confirmed. So, it's a trinity of attraction. So, let's put attraction. And let's put a father. These are the archetypes that are attractive. Father, king, and outlaw. You can think of these like the attractive archetypes, and when you combine them all in one, you have the male image that women are looking for. So let's go over what each of these mean. So father. Father, you can think of love, a loving aspect. Because women do want to be loved. Women do care about emotion. They are emotional. Right? They want to be hugged, they want to be held, and they want to be loved. That's why, those buttercup things you do, like giving them flowers or whatnot, can make them feel good. But it has to be balanced out by the other things. You can't over-identify with anything here. So, for example, king. King is like law and order. Law, order, and ultimately it's respect. So this is what makes the woman respect you. So let's say, what if a woman loves you but doesn't respect you? She may have desire for other men. I've seen that a lot of times. It's not a nice thing to think about. Girl you're with, not wanting you and wanting another guy. But respect is what beholds a woman to a man. Respect is very important. But love is also important. So you have to balance this. Now, the outlaw. The outlaw is like this kind of rebel. And this is the principle of you can say what you want, you do what you want, and you don't care what other people say. Why is that attractive? It's attractive because she, ultimately, when women are looking at a man, what they want in a man, they want someone that is able to take control. And may even defy them if it's the right thing to do. What is defiance? That's rebelling in some sense. It's being a quote-unquote outlaw. And also not conforming to society. Nothing is more attractive to a woman than conforming to society too much. Right? This rebellious aspect, woman, it's like that amplifier that women find really attractive. For example, if you think of TV sitcoms a long time ago, there was always that character that came in a motorbike and had the leather jacket and had like the swagger, and women would go like, "Oh my God, he's so hot," and whatnot. Right? We can think of a lot of characters like that. Women go crazy over. That's like that rebellious energy. Like this, it's gonna be a bit crass, but it's true. And this is like husband, and then you add this, and that's daddy. Okay? You know what I mean when I say that. Right? So, how does this work in a Christian framework? This is the type of embodiment that the Bible calls men to. So, for instance, love your wives. The Bible says that all the time. But also, you are the one in charge. You're the head of woman. So the Bible says. So that's law and order. That's the kingly aspect. That's respect. The woman has to respect you. The Bible says that women should submit to the husband as they do to God. Respect is very important. But also rebel and outlaw. How does that fit in with the Bible? Well, it's unabashedly believing in the truth. It doesn't mean rebelling for the sake of rebelling, but it means that if your wife says something wrong, you should tell her that she's wrong. You should do your own thing. Right? You should do it with love and respect. But you have to do your own thing. You can't just listen to your wife when she says something wrong. You shouldn't do something just because she said it. I mean, think of the fall with Adam and Eve. Adam just blindly listened to Eve. I mean, a lot of biblical commentators talk about how that was an error. Right? You blindly listen to a woman. That's why the Bible says that. That's why Paul says, "I do not give woman authority to teach a man," because of the fall itself. You must stay silent. So, this is all from the Bible. Okay, these are biblical axioms. And because men are called to be this way, women desire that. Okay, it's like opposites attract. And what a lot of people I see, like the Christian incels and the men going their own way people, they don't understand that if a woman doesn't like you, it's not because you're Christian. I see this weird narrative coming up all the time about how, well, women just don't like Christian men. They don't inherently just not like you because you're Christian. they don't like that you don't embody the traits that they find attractive. And this is honestly how men are as well. I mean, if a woman is a whale, a walrus, fat, a hefty lefty, I mean, whatever term you want to use, Pillsbury Doughboy, or Pillsbury Dough Girl, whatever term you want to use, okay, just because she says, well, I'm Christian, it doesn't make you go like, oh, I actually find you attractive now. That's not how it works. So don't, listen, I'm called a misogynist pig all the time, but don't be unfair to women, okay? We work the same way. We work the same way, but it works differently. So, here we go. All right, we have these things. Yeah, we have these things. Okay, we have this trinity of attraction. And the reason why a lot of Christian men fail is because they embody too much of this, like, father love aspect. Right? They're too nice. They're too agreeable. It kind of relates to all the things I was talking about earlier in the stream and the stuff we're talking about in other videos. They're too agreeable. Too nice. Right? It's going around like that all the time. And if you don't believe this triune thing that I'm talking about, triunity, trinity, I don't want to confuse this with the Holy Trinity, okay? It's just tri, three, unity, one. Okay, that's all it is. So, if you don't believe me, there's two sources I'm going to appeal to. One, Helene Dutch, I don't know how to say it, companion of Sigmund Freud. She wrote 4 very large books, okay, of Psychology of Women, Psychoanalytic Confessions of Women. It's basically the deepest things that women talk about, okay? It's not just going on the street and saying, do you like six-packs? No. These are like deep psychoanalytic confessions going to the deepest parts of themselves. No pun intended. And what they say in there is going to make you think they're really weird. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Okay? When they have these dreams and images about a man, they aren't thinking of a little teddy bear. They're thinking of, well, like a grizzly bear, doing things, even though they said no. Just gonna leave it at that, okay? Use your imagination. Not too much, though. And also appeal to, well, I'm also appealing to the Bible. So it's 3, actually. So I'm appealing to the Bible, obviously. I explained that earlier. And 3, some water. Don't worry, everything I say will be free, but I will suggest very heavily that you join my Discord because you can get one-on-one access with me. You can ask me a question on there. I will answer it in there as of now, at least. It's not too crazy yet. And you also gain access to uncensored information in Discord channel, which I cannot share on YouTube. There's also more general, broad information and niche information on different subjects that are not touched on in this video, most likely. Being said, find it in the description. Let's get back to the video. I'm also appealing to experience, obviously. So I guess it's actually 4. And the 4th one is, I would actually forget. I had it. Psychoanalytic Confessions of a Woman, and then, alright, whatever. If I remember, I'll appeal to that later, but, oh yeah, no, okay, I remember. Rom-coms, the books, and their erotic novels, okay? Don't be a gooner. Okay, this is not me supporting gooning. I don't support gooning at all. Don't goon. Gooning's bad for you. Bad for your soul, first and foremost, but also bad for your brain, and body, and whatnot. But, women don't usually watch. They usually read. Okay, they read while they go at it, alright? And when they read these books, it's not about some teddy bear, okay? It's about something else. It kind of relates to what I was talking about earlier. So if you don't believe this, then you're fine. You can do what you want, but you're not living in reality. So in any case, let's go into here. All right. So this is completely blurred out, but this is someone I was working with, and these are text messages they sent to each other. And this is so cringe to read. It's so bad, but, So this is an example of what not to do. So, for context, this guy was having a really good relationship with his girl at a certain point, but then he started panicking a little bit, and it has to do with yourself, okay? If you're going to get with a woman, you have to be bright in the mind, alright? Don't go into it when you're not working on your mind, right? So, anyways, let's read this. This is the way you would never talk about it. I'm going to break down why you never talk about this. So, I've noticed during the weekdays you've been off and kind of dry recently. Is everything good? So this is asking her how she's doing. It's not necessarily wrong, but the way it comes off is like, please. And this is how it reads. Okay? Because remember, women don't necessarily communicate in words. They communicate in tone and feeling. So you have to be very, very careful about the way things say or perceived. So, please talk to me. That sentence isn't absolutely terrible, but, okay, weird way to start. And by the way, texting is like, that's just to set things up. You gotta treat, my friend came out with this. This is a good one. You have to treat texting like sending letters. Okay, do you send a letter to have a full conversation, or do you send a letter just to set something up? Okay, you're sending a letter, you gotta set something up. Okay, do most of your work in person. But, alright, next, just asking because I really, really like you a lot. Okay, it's not necessarily wrong to say you like a girl, but think about it like this, okay? Think about it like, okay, you know, I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna buy this thing because it's nice, right? And then the guy's like, oh, thanks for coming, dude. We really need to sell to you. Please take it. Please take it off our hands. Please, please, please just take it. Please just take it. You'd be kind of like, you know, is this thing actually good? You know, why is he trying to sell it to me like that? It's kind of how it is. It's like over-validating. It's too much. Okay? And a lot of the rep say you should never compliment a woman. That's not true. Because that's complimenting like that love aspect. If you go to a club or a bar and you're just trying to get laid the same night, never compliment a girl. It should be very subtle. But it's a bit different when you're trying to go for a long-term relationship. There should be some validation there, but if it's too much, you're leaning too much into that agreeable, like, father-love aspect, okay? You gotta balance it out. So, over-validating. And I think we should communicate more about how we feel and what's going on so we don't get the wrong path. Kind of mid, but again, kind of goes back to please talk to me. Plus, I don't want to mess anything up. That's really bad. Okay, so what? This is lack of confidence. That's really bad. I don't want to mess anything up. So what? You're turning into... Because think of leaders. Would a leader ever send that type of message? A leader would send a very confident, very well put together message. Because women want a very well put together man. That just seems like you don't know what you're doing. Right? It's very bad. Lack of confidence. And remember, don't take what I'm saying as, okay, I'm going to start changing how I am now so it can work out. If you can't naturally feel these things out of yourself, then you have a problem. Okay, you got to work on your mind. Maybe it's just me being an overthinker. Same thing. Lack of confidence. But I just wanted to say that I don't overthink during my game. I'll play badly. I lack confidence. Man, that's just ridiculous. It's so cringe to read. But the thing is, this girl he's talking to is very inexperienced. Right? They're both in high school. They're both around the same age. She's never been in a relationship. And when you're with the less guys a girl's been through, the more margin for error we have. Okay? Now, it's a bit different when they're like a 35-year-old single mom and trying to just settle down with someone, but either way, the margin for attraction always expands with the more guys they talk to. Okay, even that single mom, they might get with the guy they don't really like, but they don't really like him. That's the point. So, margin of error is bigger, less experience they have. So, he gets a decent response. Not a complete dud. Awkward now. And remember, this was unsolicited, right? So what do you want then? So again, you put the ball in her court. Never put the ball in her court, bro. Because you're a man, you're supposed to make decisions. Now, that doesn't mean don't take that to extreme. Never ask her, like, oh, what flavor ice cream do you want? Even that, like, you have to be in control. That's the point. Like, big questions like that, you should never be leaving in her court, bro. If she doesn't want it, then she'll tell you. Alright, don't put the ball in her court. Next, I can just leave you alone if that's what you want. So again, lack of confidence, and you're just like, that's just cringe, dude. It's just, I'm right cringe. God, this is so bad. Jeez. Alright, and then, I really don't know right now, but I think it's just being friends for now is best. And if you want like an update, if you're curious at all, right now it's an ongoing situation, but he seems to be doing better now. I wish he would have not told me before he said something like this, because this is a disastrous type of thing, but, so he gets friend zone, quote unquote. That's not really friend zone. So what happened here? I'm really going in deep here, right? But, so it's like a like meter. So this is like meter. Okay. And in this case, I gave him like a body language and physical touch escalation guide. So his like meter was going up. Okay. Going up. But to send this, like, as a principle, you should never be asking a girl, what are we? Okay. A girl should be telling you asking what we are. But this is like the like meter for this to work. Okay, it's very high. So she may have been here, but when you drop this type of question, you place a lot of pressure. Okay? When you place this type of pressure, what happens is panic. And I knew out later that she panicked. It was all analysis I did at the time. So then that leads to friends. So this is like the safe answer for her. So the point is that this was completely unsolicited, and because of this, now it seems like you got friend zone when you didn't really get friend zone. You just sent a bad message. Now, this whole point isn't a texting guide, but the point is that this is an example of what not to do, okay? This is embodying too much of this love, and also just being unconfident, okay? Like king, that's confidence. It's confidence. Also rebel. Confidence, belief in oneself. That text message displays none of that. And what happens to a lot of people, I see this all the time. People have this type of experience, and they'll go like, well, I guess being with women just isn't for me. Become a Christian insult, become men going their own way. Dude, the problem isn't women. The problem is just you. Okay? You can't be acting like this. It's not attractive. It's not going to work out. All right? So, chew on this a bit. All right? You want to embody these traits ultimately in yourself, because it's what the Bible calls men to be. And you'll do better. Okay? The number one reason why Christian men fail with women is because they're too nice. Okay? Too nice. Doing too much of this. Okay? Doing too much of this. Do less of this. Do more of being assertive, man. All right? And you'll do well, I promise.